Hey everyone, Kerry Daigle. I'm the facilitator tonight. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. As you can tell, I have my athletic gear on tonight because we have an athletic superstar that we're going to be talking to in just a minute. She's a mom of several children. She'll tell you more about that in a few minutes, but not several like a house full, just a few. She's a CrossFit queen. If you know anything about CrossFit, she's the queen. She's a queen. She's a former competitive high-level athlete. And now she's a well-known superstar in direct sales with a company called Juice Plus. So I don't want to steal any thunder away from Jamie Kuenzie. Jamie, primarily what I would like you to do, we have a lot of people tuning in that are partners that are tuning in on a regular basis, but we also have brand new people that have just started. And some people that are potentially guests here tonight. So I want them to meet you officially. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself, your background as an athlete in school, and any work experience?
Absolutely. Well, it's an honor to be here. I see so many familiar faces, and so it's always like a family reunion when I get on calls like these. So thank you for having me on. My background is in occupational therapy. And that came honestly by way of being a sick kiddo. So I grew up in the Midwest, pretty much in my mom's baby book when she was tracking, like all of those milestones, like by 11 months, I was in the hospital with croup, with upper respiratory issues. And then pretty much every spring and fall, I was in the ER or hospitalized for the first 3 to 4 years of my life. So grew up with just a lot of allergies, a lot of asthma. As I got older, health was definitely a field that I was drawn to just because I had always struggled with it. And so I naturally found myself in the profession of occupational therapy, but also I grew up an athlete. Again, in the Midwest, I was a little bit of a tomboy growing up, and I loved playing outdoors, and we did a lot of like dirt bike kind of stuff, kick the can until the sun went down and we got called in the house, which doesn't happen so much anymore. But I play all the sports. So I played basketball and volleyball and softball and soccer, and even took karate until I was in 3rd grade, and ran cross country, played a little tennis. So I kind of am a jack of all trades, but predominantly found my love for soccer like late middle school years into high school, and then ultimately ended up getting a college scholarship for soccer. So love athletics, love sports, love moving my body. And I think honestly, it was like my way of having a meditative release, but really not even understanding why, because I had been a little kid who had a little bit of trauma that happened to her as well. And so I think that was my way of dealing with it, was moving my body. So I'm the middle of 5 kids growing up, so I'm one of 5 sisters. So it was a full house. And what can I tell you about me? I am married. My husband, Jaron, we've been married since 2005. We have 3 kiddos. My oldest, Owen, is a sophomore. Addie is an 8th grader. And then my youngest is in 5th grade. And we primarily lived outside of the St. Louis area for most of our lives. But 5 years ago, because of this business, we had the ability and just really the inspiration to move away from our hometown. And now we live in Overland Park, Kansas, and we're putting roots here, and it's been a great adventure. So a little bit about me.
Now you mentioned your husband. I've met him at several conferences. He's a pretty fit guy. Is he a CrossFitter?
He is a CrossFitter. He was a soccer player first, and he still plays soccer today. Yep.
Yeah, he stays fit. I know that. I see him at the conferences a lot. But let's fast forward a little bit. Let's go right into what we're talking about tonight, the Juice Plus business. How was Juice Plus presented to you, Jamie?
Yeah, honestly, the business wasn't what was presented to me first. Again, primarily with occupational therapy, I was in the nursing home setting. Twofold. One is I worked in a lot of different aspects of occupational therapy, but I kind of found that the most lucrative place for an OT was in the long-term care facilities. So number one, I've always been driven to have a better lifestyle and just more life choices than growing up as a family of five. My mom stayed at home. My dad was a UPS man, so like they did the best they could, but that's not a lot of income for five kids. So I always wanted to have more options than my family was able to have growing up. And so I was driven to be in that setting, but I also enjoyed working with older adults. And though my energy, it became kind of challenging pretty early on to go every day to a nursing home, which is a place most people don't want to end their life at. And so I really kind of was questioning the direction in my life, just having worked in that setting, because I didn't want to end up like that. And I definitely didn't want my family to end up in that position where they needed a home like that. And so a coworker introduced me to Juice Plus, and it was in a springtime. Actually, March will be my 20th year of eating Juice Plus. And I was 25 at the time. And I think she saw me starting to struggle with some seasonal allergies and said, you should try Juice Plus. And what's Juice Plus? And she said, well, it's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. She'd been on it for 2 years. And after a year, she got off all her asthma and allergy meds. And she was a mentor to me. She was in her early 50s. She was very good in my profession. And so I definitely trusted her. We already had that built trust for her to recommend it to me and me to want it. However, she was not a partner. She just was a really happy customer. And she met somebody at a booth and just kept getting Juice Plus in the mail. That person, I think still to this day, has never followed up with her. So she didn't have a direction to point me in when I wanted to order Juice Plus. And 20 years ago, it was not cool to Google Juice Plus, and was not cool to put your credit card online for sure. So I was in this position of wanting what my coworker was talking about, because I was on 8 prescription medications as a 25-year-old, mostly asthma and allergy related. One was an anxiety medication, and one was birth control, because I wasn't ready to start having a family at that point. And that's just what you did back then. And so I think everything happens for a reason. My coworker was so sweet. The next time she got a shipment, she gave me a bottle of each of hers to get started. But I already knew that it took her a year to get off her medication. So I was already like mentally prepared for the long game. And I call myself an open skeptic. Like I'm willing to try most things within reason for my own personal experience of it. So I was already like all in on trying this thing that she had tried and being committed to it, but I had no way of getting a hold of it. So my sister had given me a call one weekend and started making fun of her nurse friend. They had been out at a bar one weekend, and her nurse friend, Brandy, had, told her she needed Juice Plus to help her asthma and her allergies, because it was, it's in my family genetics that's the thing we struggle with. And so my sister was making fun of it, and I said, I've heard of it. I think I'm going to get on it. And so I picked up the phone. Wouldn't you wish that all of your customers would pick up the phone and call you? I picked up the phone to call Brandy Foss to order Juice Plus. And honestly, Brandy was brilliant on that phone call for me wanting to order, just saying, doesn't it make sense to offset your cost? And so I had a little bit of like an inkling in the back of my head, like, that's interesting. Like, I wonder if this could be a thing. And so I'll kind of cut that story there, but that's how I got introduced to Juice Plus. I'd never seen a video, never heard an audio, a DVD, a CD, nothing. It was strictly my coworker's story, who I trusted, and I immediately wanted what she had.
Wow, what a story. 20 years with the Juice Plus company. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so April, it was like I was on it a month and then decided to join.
Now, I've heard stories about you about picking up the phone and calling people. Why is that important?
It's like the quickest, it's like the most efficient and effective way to get any outcome, really, honestly. Like, I love social media, and I love, I'm a 9 on the Enneagram, which means I'm a little more like introverted, and I don't like confrontation. So texting is a real safe space for me. But if I want results and I actually want to move forward with a thought process or something I'm trying to plan or organize, it's picking up the phone and having a conversation to get it accomplished.
Well, I hear so many good things about you and how you amassed that using that telephone. Now, I also was looking at your bio. I was checking you out. I wasn't just looking at everything about you. I wasn't whatever you call that, when you following people you're not supposed to be following. I was just checking you out before this call, and I saw that you had a company called Strong Life LLC. Would you mind sharing, what is that all about?
Yeah, well, that came definitely long after my success with Juice Plus and got to a position where I needed to become an LLC. That was, the smartest thing to protect the income that we make from Juice Plus. So there's definitely that avenue for those who are looking to pursue it. But honestly, it's a brand, like it's what not only myself, but my whole family stands for. It's, strong life means like we have a strong faith. It means we have a strong marriage. We believe in strong communication and relationships and health and fitness. And, it's just that we're very well rounded, and we might not be masters of everything, but we're strong in everything.
It's kind of like what you have on your shirt, no bull, right?
Yes. Yeah. Somehow we set off Siri, but yeah.
That's it. That's it. Well, this is a 2-point question I have for you now. What caught your attention the most to join? What caught your attention most to join the company? And do you believe that this was going to be such a successful career as you have today? Because you become a superstar. You built a superstar business. Did you expect that?
I didn't expect it. However, I was in a position again in my career. I had started in college down the path of actually athletic training, and the college that I went to initially got rid of that program my freshman year. And so they said, we'll get that program up and running, in the next 4 years. Well, I just started. I didn't have 4 years to wait. And so with the assistance of some great mentors, I found my way to occupational therapy, which I definitely liked. But I actually knew even like midway through the program, like this isn't what I see myself doing the rest of my life. And I can't tell you what I really saw myself doing. I mean, I questioned, should I become a doctor? I thought I love learning, like I love education. I love understanding how things work, especially when it comes to health and wellness. And so I'd settled on that career. And again, I was in that nursing home setting. And while I was making, I mean, it's a great amount when you're new out of school, but I pretty quickly learned, like, I remember Jaren and I having these conversations, like, how do people buy furniture for their apartment? Like, how do they go on these vacations? Like, are they just putting it all on a credit card? Like, I couldn't figure out like how to create wealth beyond a paycheck. And we weren't like living, beyond our means or anything like that. But I always knew that I wanted to have kids, and I wanted, I remember again, growing up, family of 5, my parents did the best they could, but if I had an interest in pursuing something, they didn't always have the income to be able to allow me to do that. And that was something that was just laid on my heart early on. Like, if my kids have an interest in wanting to learn a skill or a trade or, a hobby, like I wanted to be able to say, yes, we can afford that, or compete at a high level, or extra sports training. Because I didn't have that growing up. And those are things I wish I did. So it was in the back of my head, maybe this could be a vehicle, right, that could allow me to be a more present mom, because I knew I wanted to have kids and be more present with them. But I really, again, I was that open skeptic, and I was willing to check it out. And I went to a boot camp, which was really weird because I went with my sister's friend, not my friend. And I didn't know anybody else who went, and the word boot camp was in it. So I was kind of excited that there was a workout, but there wasn't. So, but it was in that space that like I got to hear, right? You build your beliefs. So I built my belief in the company behind the product. I built my belief in the product because I heard about the research from these different medical professionals who were speaking from the front of the room. And then I built my belief that this could be a vehicle that could take me, bigger places than my job ever could. When I heard, on average back then, it took 3 to 5 years to get to national marketing director. And you heard a lot back then, a large majority of NMDs were making 6-figure income. Well, as an occupational therapist, for me to make a 6-figure income meant I worked full-time. And then it meant I worked a couple of PRN jobs. So just trading more time for dollars in order to make that 6-figure income. And I had plenty of peers who did. However, either somebody else was raising their kids, or they were cutting back their lifestyle so that, right, they could be those present parents. Like nobody in my profession could do both. And I was trying to figure a way out to be able to do both. And I did.
Now, Jamie, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that you're an introvert. Okay. I've seen you on the big stage. I've seen you do trainings. So you got to do a better sales job. I don't buy it. I mean, you're all
borderline. I'm borderline. It just depends. It just, when I come off that stage, I like hide from everybody for like a good 30 minutes.
Now, you mentioned something for the newcomer that's listening in right now. You just mentioned a position called National Marketing Director. What is that for the newcomers?
Yeah. It may seem like a position that, oh, only those people achieve, right? Like, that's what I thought, like, oh, those people. I'm not one of those people. But it took me 10 years to become one of those people. And it's the top of our company, our leadership. There's a couple other higher level leaders above that, just different iterations of National Marketing Director. Just more growth happens there. I almost feel like true leadership really happens at National Marketing Director. I feel like it's just the beginning, truly. But it's where you really get to maximize the compensation plan and all of the benefits that the company, has on the table for us.
So a lot of opportunity, a little bit more than the employer or employee world.
100%. And I was really drawn that my husband was 3 years younger than me. And I was finding that so many of my peers, like their spouses were tied to jobs they hated and really weren't passionate about because the spouse carried the insurance. And I just thought that was a really crap reason to have a job. And so I really loved that Juice Plus had the opportunity for which one of us gets to National Marketing Director first, that we can carry full medical benefits so that our spouse can find what it is that is their passion. And so I really appreciate that about Juice Plus.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it helps the relationship to be even better.
Yes, yes, I agree. Now, I know we mentioned earlier that you're a CrossFit guru, and you are. I mean, I've seen videos of you working out. You really get with the program, and you absolutely love it. And for those of you who are not really familiar with CrossFit, I'm a sports agent. I work with professional athletes. I want to tell you, that's a serious workout session and a serious program. Now, does Juice Plus play a significant part of your training regimen?
Oh, 100%. I found Juice Plus before I found CrossFit, and I'm really grateful for that. I remember my husband found it, and I was pregnant at the time, and I just thought, I can't do that. My joints are too lax. And it wasn't until actually baby number 2 where I'd watched enough that I was inspired and wanted to give it a try. So I started postpartum, and if I can start postpartum, anybody can start. But what I fell in love, and how this relates to Juice Plus too, there's just a lot of parallels. CrossFit is preparing you for the unknown and the unknowable that life may throw at you physically. And that's what Juice Plus does. It prepares you, right, at a cellular level for the unknown and the unknowable that life may throw at you. You're going to handle everything better with better nutrition. And it's not to say that we're not going to get, major things that happen in our lives, but I guarantee you'll handle it better with Juice Plus. And so for CrossFit, as the therapist background, I appreciated that everything was teaching people to move functionally the right way first. And again, every gym is going to be a little bit different on their coaches, right? Every profession has its bad eggs, but the methodologies, you teach people to move correctly. And honestly, even as a therapist, I didn't know how to move correctly. So I really appreciated I was getting this high level education on my own movement. And then once you move correctly, then you can add load and you can add intensity. So it's kind of like what we do with Juice Plus, right? We're teaching people how to eat correctly, how to functionally get the amount of nutrition they need to be getting on a daily basis from fruits and vegetables. And we're able to teach them how to do that consistently. And when they do that consistently over time, they see optimal results. So the same thing holds true with Juice Plus, with CrossFit, is when you do these functional movements consistently over time, you get better and you are prepared for whatever life may throw at you. So it's helped with my recovery. I mean, I'm way fitter in my 30s and 40s than I ever was in my 20s, in my teens. So forever grateful for that. But I recover so much quicker than most everybody else in the gym. Yeah, I mean, when I tell people my age, they're like, "You're how old?" And so it's fun to be on Juice Plus. It keeps you young.
So great fuel for the body is what you're saying, right?
100%. It's the best. It's so clean. Yeah, I can rely on it. I can give it to my kids. Yep.
Your confidence level, it just, you can see it in you. You just really believe in everything that you do. And it's so refreshing to be able to have someone like you on this call tonight. Now let's rewind a little bit. You were talking about national marketing director. I mean, you're a busy mom. You said you're married, you got some children and so forth, and yet you hold the highest obtainable position in this billion-dollar company. It operates in 30 countries. How did you make that happen if you had to give someone a story? How did that happen for you?
Well, one, you have to make the decision that that's what you want to go for. Like, it really is a decision. People say that you make like a major decision twice. The day you say yes to being a partner, signing your app. The second time is the decision to really go for it. And it's kind of like I had been going along and I had life happen like everybody does. I had, let's see, a miscarriage, and that kind of rocked my world because I felt like Juice Plus, right? Like I had to learn, like, we're not invincible because we're on Juice Plus, right? Like there's a lot of other factors at play, and I'm only in control of so much. So it kind of like, just for a second, like kind of rocked my world, because I thought my whole goal was I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and a present mom. And then I kind of questioned, will I even be able to be a mom in the first place? And so when I was able to like let that go and like trust a little bit more, and I did eventually get pregnant, I really went all in on just being pregnant, and I was really protective of it because I had lost. But that didn't mean I wasn't showing up for Juice Plus. Like I had learned, and I'm teachable. So when my mentor said, you go to like 2 conferences a year, 2 boot camps a year, and I went to a once a month event in St. Louis, and I showed up weekly for a call. Like I did those things. I just wasn't always out there talking to as many people as I should have been in that season. But those things kept me alive and kept me going in those hard times. Like Juice Plus became the family that I leaned into in those hard times. But I got married in this business plan and had, those struggles and had those kids. And so I would say I made a lot of sacrifices that I see a lot of people not willing to take today. And if they could just get on the other side, like 5-10 years down the road, to know that your sacrifice was worth it, and what you might be able to say yes to your children or your grandchildren or your parents. Like my parents divorced after 45 years of marriage. It like rocked our world. And I was able to take my dad in my house, and we had room for him. And we were able to help support him through AA. And I've been able to just go help my sisters when they've had new babies and be there for a week so that they could have some respite. Those things are priceless. And if you could tell yourself, like, it's okay to miss Johnny's soccer practice or soccer game when he's 10, so that when he's, 16 and going through major stuff, you're able to be there 100%. Right. So there's just, I can't give you enough encouragement. Like I missed those things. I didn't miss all of them. I was there for a lot of them, but I just wasn't there at every one. And I really had to prioritize what I said yes to. I had started out as a high school soccer coach also, and I had to let that go because I wasn't able to make the spring conferences. But that was important. It became, after the 3rd year, important to me for me to show up at that Juice Plus conference. I had to ask for money for birthdays and Christmas so that I could put it to my conference, flight or hotel room or conference ticket. Those are sacrifices that I made because I just knew I had no other way out to be able to create wealth and have more options.
Sacrifices. What a great story. Now I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. You started talking more about the business, I guess, for the listeners tonight. If I was to ask you for 3 tips for success, what would they be?
Something that's been on my heart. I was talking with Victoria earlier today, like in our business, I've gone to the CrossFit Games, not competed, just went as a spectator the last 2 years. And if you are ever in that crowd, it is the fittest crowd in the world, right? And when we go to the Juice Plus conference, I think we should be the most nutritionally healthy conference in the world. And not that we should like be perfect by any means, but I feel like we have some work that we can make. And I think that people buy from those that they know, like, and trust, correct? Do you think that you could inspire more people if you were even more on a journey of healthy living? Our mission is inspiring healthy living. So beyond Juice Plus, like if you were showing or telling or that people could physically see that you were on an elevated journey with your own health, number one, don't you think that would improve your own confidence about how you're like
Absolutely.
presenting yourself to the world?
Yes.
And then number two, like people will, I think, Victoria and I do work out. We're disciplined people, and that it's something we learned over time. We made that commitment to showing up to that habit, and anybody can do that. But I almost think people have an advantage over Victoria and I, because I think if you're at the beginning of your health journey, if you're vulnerable enough to let people know, I'm not good at exercise, but I'm working on it. Here's what I'm doing. Help hold me accountable, right? You can do that in a living room, at a coffee shop. You could do that over social media. I use this vehicle of this business to like help me, like I get paid to be healthy. Like I really feel like that's what I get to do. I get paid to be healthy. And I always like dreamt that when I was a young kid. I was like, that'd be so cool if I got paid to work out. And now I kind of feel like I do. But you guys can too. And I want to encourage you, not only from that, aspect of it's going to make you more confident, and people are going to like receive you better, but ultimately it's going to make you healthier, and you're going to be around longer to live this mission of inspiring healthier living. I would love to see more people building more muscle, and that kind of might feel like out of left field, but like the more I learn, like muscle is your longevity organ. And muscle is where most of our mitochondria is housed. And mitochondria is what gives us energy, is our energy powerhouse. And muscle is what like processes the glycogen and keeps your blood sugar stable. So the more muscle we have, like just the healthier we're going to be and the longer we're going to live. So 3 tips is to like, can you like elevate your healthy living journey and start showing people what it is that you're doing, even if it's that you're just being consistent, getting 8,200 steps in a day. Like science shows that getting 8,200 steps like drastically reduces your risk of heart disease. Second is be willing to make sacrifices, be willing to be teachable and learn, but also like know that sometimes you're going to have to, like I missed my sister's 21st birthday, which is a big deal because we're a close family, so that I could go to my first conference. If I wouldn't have gone to my first conference, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today. So find ways to make some sacrifices to follow what your upline leaders are saying, and attending a conference, 2 conferences a year is like one of the highest things that you can do to grow your business.
Wow. What an answer. That's phenomenal. It's all about sacrifices, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's the reward that you get. I feel like, have you guys heard that story? They did a study like years ago. I don't remember if it was Stanford or something, about they put a marshmallow in front of a kiddo, and they told the kiddo, if you can wait until they come back, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. And they had a video camera on these kiddos, and they studied and followed these kids for like years after. And the kids who immediately ate the marshmallow, they needed instant gratification. They ultimately didn't end up becoming as successful as the kiddos who were willing to wait for 2 marshmallows. And I feel like that's what's in my core, is like, I may not be the fastest, or I may not be the strongest, but I'm going to outlast you. I'm just going to outlast you.
Stamina and consistency wins over everything. It really does. And paying the price today is what I'm hearing you say. Paying the price today so you can reap the rewards later in life, when those days are really important. Outstanding. I love that. Now, your confidence is very transparent. We can see that. You're very confident. Now, I love your quote that you have. You are stronger than you think. Okay, fire me up. What do you mean?
Like, you're stronger than life is going to throw you situations that oftentimes I think people hang on to, and they hold that as their identity. And for many, like the beginning of my life, like I felt like a victim again, because I had a trauma that happened to me as I was a kiddo. But I learned about myself, and largely this company, right? If you guys keep showing up long enough, you're gonna like go through some major personal growth and development. But I learned like I'm an overcomer. Like I overcame that trauma. I overcame, and you got to look at all of the successes you've had in your life, right? I've overcame the miscarriage. I've overcome an eating disorder in college. And today I know, like I'm pardon my French, I know I'm a badass. I know that I'm smart. Like
Hey,
I know that I have greatness inside of me. I know I haven't fully realized my potential, and I still have my own stuff to work on and work through. But I'm like willing to show up and do the work. So you're stronger than you think. You really are. Like I would challenge you to like write down all of the things you've already overcame in your life and look back. We get what we focus on. And that's been really important for me as well. We could focus on all of that negativity, but if you look at all of the good that's come from it, even in the last couple of years, right? It's not been easy. Our businesses haven't been skyrocketing. And I could be down in the dumps and be stressed and anxiety over people leaving my business and stuff like that. But I'm grateful for the ones who keep showing up. I'm excited for the ones that I haven't yet met. And again, I just keep on focusing what I can do. You know, maybe I can't do social media as well as Victoria, or I can't speak as eloquently as Carrie or hype people up. But I can do what Jamie Kuenzie can do. And it's just one step at a time. And I think, again, that's why I love CrossFit, is because when you lay that workout, I don't focus on, I did 150 pull-ups in that workout. I focus on do the next rep and do the next rep and do the next rep until the workout's done. I think the same thing is true in our business. Have that next conversation and the next conversation and the next conversation, and pick up the phone and pick up the phone again, right? Christine Averill, who's one of my upline mentors, she said, you're 5 people, you're 5 lines to get you to national marketing director. They're already out there. You just have to go and find them. Like, you just have to keep, oh, that's not you, next. Oh, that's not you, next. Like, you have to keep going, because your 5 lines to get you to NMD is there. So just, if you can like change the frame of reference of what you're focusing on, you'll be unstoppable in this business.
Wow, you got me fired up. You did. That's awesome. Well, in closing, okay, closing comments to the audience right now. Let's suppose right now, Jamie, everyone listening and watching you right now is just starting their Juice Plus journey. What would you tell them?
I would say, write a list of people that you know could benefit from Juice Plus. And it doesn't mean you're going to pick up the phone or text them today, but that activity of writing and dumping names is so helpful in like it continuing to unfold, and for you to think of other people because of those people. So you have to have a database of people that you're going to start to strategize how you're going to reach out to them. I would say you have to make it visible that you are affiliated in some fashion with Juice Plus. When I started, we didn't have social media. So it was events in my home, you know, where hey, would you come and check out what I'm up to? I would love to get your feedback. Would you meet with me for coffee? I'd love to share a little bit about what I'm up to with you. So I was very much one-on-one with people at the beginning. And then when my kids were real little, like social media was just such a easier way for me to get my message in front of so many people all at once. And so be courageous to put yourself out there in a really authentic way, not in a salesy way, but that you are affiliated with Juice Plus. I mean, the company is putting millions of dollars into this ad campaign right now, and more people are becoming aware of us. And if they don't know you're affiliated, they're going to go to somebody. It might as well be you. So be courageous to let people know, and be proud that you're affiliated with Juice Plus. And then I would say, again, just follow the system. Like, get with your sponsor. The Juice Plus Hub has an amazing startup system, and we do not have to reinvent the wheel. So just be teachable, show up, and be willing to put yourself out there.
Wow, the introverted Jamie Kuenzie's got me fired up. What can I say? So Mickey, if you don't mind, since you're my superior, my boss, the smart one in the couple family here, would you mind cutting the recording off, and then we're gonna go to the next step?